And it is my pleasure to welcome you to the premiere of our 80th anniversary year. I'd like to make a few introductions. First of all is David Walker, our Executive Director and CEO. And David is going to be presenting the exciting events and exhibition lineup that we have planned for this year. I also want to point out, where's Tim? Okay, there's Tim O'Brien with R&R Partners, and they have been diligently working together with us on an ad campaign, ad and marketing, really a public image campaign that's going to go out across this year. And Tim's going to be presenting a few clips from that. We also have Tom Young, and I think he may have there he is, Tom Young with Great Basin Brewery. And the brewery has actually been a partner with the Nevada Museum of Art for over 15 years, sponsoring with us the First Thursdays event. And Tom has been very kind to bring along a taster that we all get to try today of a brew that he's made specifically for our 80th anniversary, which is pretty exciting. Thank you very much. I also want to point out Ann Wolf, our curator of exhibitions and collections, and Colin Robertson, standing next to her, our curator of education. They're both they're invaluable to the museum, but today they will be especially invaluable to you because we will be going into the Villarreal exhibition for a sneak peek today, and they will be the people to go to ask questions and answer questions. So without further ado, I welcome David Walker.
Well, good morning. I also want to thank you all for being here. And as Rachel said, this is the day we kick off a really important year, an important milestone in this museum's history. It's our 80th anniversary. We're looking back, of course, and we're doing that through an exhibition that we'll present later in the year. Our founders, Dr. James Church and Charles Cutts, who founded this museum in 1931. We've got an amazing exhibition that looks at the archives and some of the artwork that came to this museum where we started off in I guess, a living room in Dr. James Church's home. And as you all know, the institution grew through many years and ended up in this beautiful Will Bruder building where we now reside. We're really going to be looking, though, forward. This is a museum that I think has built up a lot of momentum in the last couple of years. Really, it began with the opening of this building. This is a fantastic world-class building, and as you've heard me say many times, we want to make sure that what we do inside the building is of equal status. And so we're on our way to not only upgrading our service to this region, to this community. I think you know this is the only art museum in the state of Nevada, and we take that very seriously. We're also looking at becoming a museum of note, and that means that we are exploring and originating some new programs of the museum that are now connecting us to the larger world, and we'll talk about that in a minute. A couple of things that are really important about this year is the fact that we just started a program a couple of months ago called Second Saturdays Are Free. This means that the second Saturday of each month is free to the general public. We had almost 1,200 people here on our last second Saturday, and this is a new program, and we're very happy and grateful to the Nightingale Family Foundation, who has stepped forward and made this new level of accessibility to our museum possible. Also, if you're a high school student in our region and you show up at the admissions desk with your high school identification card, we let you in free. And then we also have the hands-on Sunday family program that's also free to families and children. So it's really a big deal for us right now. We've had a lot of success in the last 2 years to solicit new support for this museum, to underwrite programs that make this truly a cultural and educational resource for everybody, regardless of your socioeconomic background. The long 55-foot cloud of Japanese kites that's spilling down from the ceiling in our atrium in the center of the building. This is a site-specific commission project. Jacob Hashimoto is the artist, and this was installed recently. And this is an amazing installation that will be up throughout our 80th year. And the reason we have that is that it's really to celebrate the volunteers of the Nevada Museum of Art. We have nearly 200 volunteers who work with us, who really make things possible here. They are the docents who work with the nearly 10,000 school-age children in the tours and conduct classroom art projects. They're also manning the special events. Every installation you see throughout the museum of artwork and exhibitions, this is largely done by a volunteer corps of installers. So we have volunteers who have expertise, who bring resources and time to this museum, and this is a year we really want to take note of their amazing contributions to the Nevada Museum of Art. Another new initiative that we started this year in recognition of the 80th anniversary is that we have named 7 people honorary life trustees of the Nevada Museum of Art. This is the first time we've done this. And that includes Kristen Avancino and Skip Avancino, Edna Benna and Bruno Benna, Carol Frank Buck, Charles Mathewson, and also Wayne Prim. These are 7 individuals who have played an extraordinary role in supporting this institution through the years and helping us fulfill our mission. So there's a few items I wanted to talk about that are general. The Leo Villarreal exhibition that formally opens tomorrow is an exhibition we've been anticipating now for some time. This is an exhibition that Ann Wolfe has put together along with the curator of the San Jose Museum of Art. Leo Villarreal is one of the premier light sculptors working today. He's based in New York City. What's interesting about Leo, though, he got his start at Burning Man in 1994. And I think you'll see some connection between the sort of kind of the hallucinations of Burning Man and the hypnotic and stimulating light projects that you're going to see shortly that are on view in the 3rd floor gallery, as well as some pieces on the 1st floor and 2nd floor. So we're really excited about the Leo Villarreal exhibition, and there's a beautiful book that's been published to accompany the exhibition, and you're all welcome to take a look at that. Now, the cornerstone exhibition of the year is a show called To Live Forever, Egyptian Treasures from the Brooklyn Museum. The Brooklyn Museum has one of the premier collections of Egyptian art and antiquities in the United States. This is a show that we've been looking forward to as well for a very long time, and I don't think we could have hit it at a better time with the extraordinary social and political events that are now occurring in Egypt and throughout the Middle East. This is a show that examines the belief by ancient Egyptians that death was the enemy. Death needed to be defeated, and this was to be done through proper preparation. And this exhibition will show you how the ancient Egyptians prepared for death and that door into the afterlife. So there will be dog mummies. There will be sarcophagi, there will be statues and drawings, etc. And I think you're going to find it to be quite amazing. We're working with a designer, an outside designer who's going to help us craft a very unique experience with this exhibition. As I mentioned, there are current events going on in the world right now that are playing a little bit of havoc with us in terms of how we present this exhibition. So not only are we going to look back 3,000 years, we're also going to look at today, and we're going to look forward 3,000 years. And this is how the programming will be informed as we move through the summer of public programs and special events. There's also going to be a sleepover, a night in the museum that will be for children, and so they're going to be bringing their sleeping bags. And I think there might be a mummy or two bouncing around the museum that night. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to that. Now, the gala dinner for the opening of that exhibition is also going to represent the kickoff of a weekend of parties. It's going to be a 72-hour party at this museum beginning June 16th. And I think me and the staff are going to feel like 3,000 years old at the end of that party. It's going to kick off with an evening to celebrate the sponsors and the upper-level donors of this exhibition, and also to honor Chuck Mathewson, who's the chairman, former chairman of IGT, who just endowed the curator of education position at this museum. So we're going to celebrate him. But it's an evening we're going to call Pharaoh's Barge. And it's going to be themed. We have an outrageous company in San Francisco that will be providing the set if you will, and the production of the weekend. Let me also say that we have an 80th anniversary committee who have been working for more than a year with us on putting this together, and that's been led by Sue Clark and Marcia Grouden, who are sitting in the very back. Thank you, Sue and Marcia, so much for all your efforts here. The following night is going to be the Pyramid Party. And the Pyramid Party is going to be another membership event that's going to be a little less formal and a little bit more festive, and we expect people to arrive in costumes, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And then the following night, we're going to have a party that will be open to the general public, and it will be free. And we're calling that right now the Birthday Bazaar, and the entire museum will be a real hoot. There's going to be whirling dervishes running around and all sorts of things like this. So we have a special beer in our honor that we'll tell you about shortly as well. But this is going to be a fantastic exhibition. It's going to be one of the spectacular shows that this museum, I think, is known to present from time to time, and we're very happy to share that with the community. Now, a very important part of where this museum is going today is that we don't want to be a convention center. We don't want to simply be writing checks to bring shows into our museum. We want to also be a museum that stands for something, that has a point of view, that has a position in the larger world, and so that means that it's important to originate content. It means it's important to have a dialogue with other institutions around the world who are doing important things as well. And we want to have stronger peer-to-peer relationships with these organizations. We have a signature photography collection here at the museum that some of you may know about. It's called the Altered Landscape. It's about 900 photographs, and it's an extraordinary collection, and bits and pieces of it travel constantly. We are going to stage a major survey of that collection this fall. And this is going to be accompanied by a book that we're very proud of that's going to be published by Rizzoli in New York City. And Rizzoli is the great publisher of art and architecture books. It'll be a 300-page coffee table book that documents the collection. And this project is being headed up by Ann Wolfe. That book will be available in September, and we're really proud of that. It's going to be distributed by Random House, and so it's going to see worldwide circulation. And this exhibition will be one of the backdrop exhibitions to our next Art and Environment Conference. So we started something 2 years ago called the Center for Art and Environment, and what this does is it simply looks at people's creative interactions with natural, built, and virtual environments. This is a research initiative of the Nevada Museum of Art. It's the only one of its kind. It's one that's received more than $1 million in funding in the last year from outside of Nevada. So it's certainly being rewarded for its uniqueness and for its scholarship. We're collecting archives right now, people like Michael Heiser, Walter D. Maria, Lita Albuquerque, Fritz Haig, Helen and Newton Harrison, the list goes on. So this is a really important strategic initiative of the museum that's really operating in the larger world. And that conference will be in fall of this year, and it's going to, like the first conference, it's going to feature a lot of international architects and designers and artists and scientists and writers who will come from Chile, from Great Britain, from all over the world to be with us, and we're going to survey what this field, art and environment, means once again. One of the keynote speakers at the conference is an art team named Helen and Newton Harrison. The Harrisons are world-renowned eco-artists. They're both in their 80s. They've been working on a series called the Force Majeure series for, gosh, about 35 years now, looking at the impact of climate change on vast pieces of land in the United States and around the world. We have commissioned them to look at a major project called the Sierra Nevada and Adaptation, where they're looking at the entire Sierra Nevada mountain range. They're looking at data that the DRI scientists are supplying them with that predicts that global change is increasing temperatures in the Sierra Nevada mountain range. They're looking at the 16 watersheds. They're looking at species that are migrating up the mountain range to where it's cooler. And what's happening, though, is that soil is being eroded downstream, and the Harrisons are known to look at these scenarios and project out possible solutions to adapt to these changes that science tells us is happening. And they do this through really amazing maps and artwork. And we just announced the project that we're commissioning with them in New York City a couple of weeks ago. We'll be showing the archive and the artwork that's coming out of this project right now this fall as well, but they're going to be speakers. This is a project that's a collaboration with DRI. We're working with the Nature Conservancy and a number of partners on this, so this is a really important project. I wanted to also say about the conference, one of the local partners that we're working with this year is the Reno Philharmonic. Sean Shepard, who's a young composer, he's only 31 years old, he's from Reno, Nevada, and Sean has been commissioned by the New York Philharmonic, the Berlin Philharmonic, the Cleveland Phil, and the Reno Philharmonic has just commissioned him to do a special piece, a special composition that looks at his music and his inspiration of place. And this is going to be a piece that's going to be about Nevada and about how the environment of Nevada has impacted him and the music that he writes. So they will be the feature session, day 2 of the conference. So we're really proud of this partnership with the Reno Philharmonic. So those are a few of the things that we're doing this year. We're really excited and we're really grateful that the community has rallied around this museum through the years. We just hit a little over 7,000 number in membership at this museum. That means that about 2% of this community is now a member of this museum. Museums around the country strive for 1%. That's the benchmark that says you're doing well. Well, we've got close to 2%, so we're very happy about that, and the support continues to be strong, and I hope we see all of you throughout this year, so thank you very much.
This is an ad that's going to start running very soon. And this is basically a tribute to that guy. Look at that. Does that look like the founding father of a museum? I mean, he looks like the most interesting man in the world. Yeah. But he made us look. He gave people pause. He gave people something to think about in that pause. And he really created a lot of life and culture as we know it in this region today. He's sort of he's our iconic Wonder Man, but we're not going to see him that much throughout the campaign. But in the idea of conversation, he was a man who made us look at things. He created and enabled conversations. You'll see the 80-year logo there in the corner. The circles, intersections, finding common ground. And that's the theme of the campaign that we're going to be using this year. It's just that, made you look. What does a good museum do? Just what Dr. Church gave us the opportunity to do, to look, to consider, to converse with one another and come up with a unique point of view of what something means to us. Where we're hoping to take this thing in the later months of this year is to engage people. You know, a museum is a place of experiences. It's a place where your mind can be changed, or you can change the mind of someone else, and everyone's experience in a museum like this is different. You may have met your wife here. You may have, your fondest memory may be bringing your baby to, one of mine is when my son was a baby and the Dale Chihuly exhibition was here. I remember walking through that hallway of glass and a little baby trying to reach up and put his hand on this stuff, and it was just this amazing experience. That's very personal, but nonetheless, it was provoked by this museum. Everybody has a story like that. So what we're hoping to do is use a bit of technology as a means of self-expression and engage people and ask them to, we'll put out the call, we're asking for their response. Tell us how the museum made you feel or made you look. Send us a text message. I'm not going to go into all the manifestations of the technological executions we're going to use, but it will be a way for people to share their views, share their experiences. And in this Made You Look campaign, and this is an ad that would be basically an introduction to this idea. What we're asking people to do is take a picture with your, hopefully in the environs around the museum, take a picture of yourself somehow interacting with this place and give us a few words, 3-4 words max, about how this place made you look. Did it make you look more human? Did it make you look into your soul? Did it make you look into your child's eyes? Did it make you look silly or like Picasso? there's no right or wrong answer. This is our chance to, and here's another example of what that ad might look like, but it's our chance to invite people in under the tent to collect their stories, their points of view, and to be able to sort of catalog them and then push them back out to the community and let the community be the voice of this institution. You know, and these things might be turned into actual ads where someone takes a picture with one of these, or has somebody take a picture of them, uploads it, sends us a brief bit of text that said, you know, it made me look closer than ever before. And we share this message. We push this message out in print advertising. Here's one, you know, made this gentleman look more like himself. You know, it made this young couple look like artists in residence. You know, these are for example advertisements right now, but we hope to give people's voice resonance out in the community and encourage people to this feedback loop of people participating. And there's another one, and we'll also be putting this stuff up in the windows of the museum, various places where it's taking place at the street level. It's not all just big paid media. There are ways where you can see your friends and see yourself appearing. In the end, you know, it's our birthday. We want people to not just feel like we're celebrating ourselves, but we're celebrating the community. We're celebrating just being here and interacting with each other. And so the idea, does that show up really well? This place really is, you know, a giant layer cake if you look at it. And but we will be having some external expressions of these messages where you may even be seeing people's text messages and imagery on the exterior of the building. But that's very briefly the campaign, and I thank you for looking, and if you have more questions later, I'm happy to answer them.
So thank you very much for coming. If you do have any questions, please let me know. Again, David is here, we have Tim here, we have Tom here, we have Anne and Colin, and we will also be opening the doors to the gallery to have a sneak peek at the exhibition, which is not yet open. So again, thank you very much for joining us.